Hello, my Tubies. Sheila True Love here with you this fine Saturday morning. Don't mind this. I was playing with some tattoos, and these are really fun. These are not permanent. These are where you just press them on. Put what you cut it. You cut the tattoo out that you like, right? And then you press it on. You take the plastic off of it, and you cut the tattoo and you put it on, and then you wet the back of it. Make it real wet, 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 wet. And then you press it for like 30 seconds, and then you peel it off, and you got the tattoo. It lasts for 2 weeks, even when you shower. How nice is that? So if you see me with tattoos on, just know that I'm having fun, darling. Having a little fun. These are pretty cute. Even though I like the flowers, I like the butterfly. I don't like anything really big and gaudy. Like the roses, the heart. That's cute. I like the cherries. The butterflies are totally cute. Yes. But anyway, those are the tattoos that are not permanent. I told you that I was going to catch up on my story times, and I'm trying to catch up using the weekend for that. I was already in the middle of it, and TikTok just shut it down. I don't know what, it just went off. I don't know what happened. I put it on Do Not Disturb now, so hopefully that will help things to run smoothly. Anyway, I really need some advice, Miss True Love. My husband ditched me and our 3 children. At the time, they were 2, 3, and 9, 5.5 years ago. We have had almost zero contact from him in all that time, and absolutely zero support from him in any way. We are still legally married because I don't have the funds necessary for an expensive international divorce, and he has been cut out of the picture anyway. So I just left things as they were. He lives in Europe and I live in the United States. Well, completely out of the blue, he contacts me through an email. I don't know what to do here. I don't know if I should respond or not. And if I do, what I should say. My primary concern is for my children. If I don't respond, will they resent me later? Because I didn't reach back to try and reestablish contact with their father? If I do respond, and it leads to letting them have contact with him, is this the best thing for them in the long run? This was actually the second time he has abandoned them. The first time was when they were 7 years old, 20 months, and only a newborn. I got very sick and ended up spending 2 months in the hospital. To make a long story short, she says. He refused to care for the children during my illness, so they ended up having to be taken in by my friends and my neighbors until I got home. I would hate to have to put their little hearts through it a third time. At the same time, it is their father. How do I know what's best for them? My other question is, why now? Why is he trying to contact me now? It can't simply be to apologize. There has to be some kind of other motivation. This so-called apology also feels very, very hollow. This man has so much he should be apologizing for. But he says maybe he didn't measure up as a husband, but he did the best that he could do. He did his best. There is no maybe about it. I want to be the type of person who takes the high road and reacts with forgiveness and compassion, but honestly, I just can't do it, not for him. Especially with this meager, hollow effort of an apology. Any advice or insight or input you have to give will be greatly appreciated. So what did I say? My answer, the best answer I could give her at the time, I'll go, up and down throughout it, not the whole thing. As he's shown, I said, he's shown you what kind of dad he is by neglecting his kids while you were in the hospital. When you say that's the time when she needed him the most, to be honest. He can't do it. So basically, he's pretty much a sperm donor because he hasn't contributed to the children, even though you guys separate. Okay, if the mom and dad can't get along, that's one thing. What does that have to do with the children? She was out here struggling financially on her own. So he's a sperm donor. No need to let him back into your lives. This is my suggestion. Kids can do fine with one parent who loves and cares for them. However, if anything happens to you, he is their biological dad and he would have custody of them. I would get the divorce and have him sign off on parenting rights so this doesn't happen if that's what she really wants. But if he was a good dad, I don't know how you're going to be a good dad when things get rough or things get thick, you thin out. But whatever. Okay. I hope you have a will and state the guardians for your children in it. I would want everything legally taken care of as far as he's concerned. And then on another note, because you have to look at both sides, I can only imagine how overwhelming it must feel to receive such an unexpected email after all this time. Your concerns for your children's well-being are completely valid, and it's clear that you're putting their best interests first. In terms of responding, take your time to carefully consider your options. It's important to prioritize your children's emotional safety and stability above all else when you're thinking about the children. You don't owe him an immediate response, especially given the history of abandonment, because remember, he did it already twice. And his lack of support. Okay, if you're going to leave, okay, that's one thing, but at least send some money for the kids. If you do choose to respond, perhaps you could emphasize that your priority is your children's welfare and that any future interactions would need to be approached with caution and consideration for the feelings of your children and for their needs. As for his motivation for reaching out, I said only he knows ultimately what is his true intentions. Regardless, your focus should remain on what's best for you and your children moving forward. And above all, remember that you're not alone in navigating this challenging situation because so many women are out here going through the same thing. Lean on your support, whatever support network she has, such as those who helped you when he had abandoned you. You know, the people who took your kids in and the ones who helped you. So maybe you should lean more towards that, while you're going through this. And on another note, what he's doing is called hoovering. I think we are all familiar with narcissists. I know I am. I am very educated when it comes to them now. I'm a pro. You will eventually be discarded again, possibly. He's looking for attention, validation, maybe what he left you for, it didn't work out, it blew up in his face, and now he realizes that he's by himself. Best to leave well enough alone and do not respond. Of course, she has to think about that because she has children. He's already shown you who he is as a husband and a father. I think it's important for you to save yourself and save your children. And that's the best advice I could give her. And also, don't forget prayer, Bible study, a therapist, because I'm not a therapist. I am an advice coach. A therapist, you have to be licensed. An advice coach or coach, you don't have to be licensed. But I'm just throwing it out there to give her some ideas of the options that she has. So, of course, I want her to look out for the well-being of herself, because without her, the children are not going to be, function properly. So that's pretty much it. But do you see why I find it imperative for women to have their own money? Because you never know when these men are going to decide to pick up and walk. They don't care whether you have children or not. They don't care. And now that things seem to have blown up in his face, now all of a sudden he wants to come back. Until when? Until he gets bored again? Until the newness or whatever, not newness, wears off? Think wisely, ladies. Always, I beg you to have your own money. Please. Always make sure you have your own. I'm just happy that she had some neighbors and friends who gave her the support that she needed, because what would have happened to those children? She was ill and couldn't take care of them if she didn't have a support network. So go make some friends at your community church, your fellowship church, so you can have a support network. Family and friends are very important. Don't turn your back on your family just because a man comes in the picture. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle.